Egypt is in the news. I know CAF, Confederation of African Football, when it comes to footballing, hosting rights, it's not written in gold in terms of how anything can happen. And that's the case of the under-20 FIFA or Africa Cup of Nations, which of course was supposed to be hosted in Côte d'Ivoire, but it will now be hosted in Egypt following Côte d'Ivoire's sudden withdrawal. Now the Confederation of African Football confirmed that the Ivorian Football Federation and government cited unforeseen circumstances that, of course, ensured that they will not be able to host. Now, Egypt, having previously submitted a bid, was selected as the new host. Now, the tournament will kick off on the 27th of April with the final set for the 18th of May. The relocation ensures continuity for Africa's premier youth football competition, which serves as a platform for emerging talent. Egypt's strong football infrastructure is expected to provide a smooth transition as teams prepare for the highly anticipated tournament. Now, joining us from Giza, Egypt, is Nageeb Fahmy. Good afternoon to you, Nageeb. Thank you very much for joining us and welcome to In the Game.
Thank you, Favor. It's always a pleasure to be with you.
All right, Egypt is in the news for a very good reason. Egypt will be the host of the Under-20 Nations Cup. What is it like in terms of the reaction from lovers of football in Egypt, from the administrators, as Egypt has been selected as the new host of Under-20 AFCON?
Well, actually, everyone here is quite enthusiastic about the tournament because last time Egypt hosted the Under-20 AFCON was 2 years ago, and it was not a good tournament in terms of results because Egypt was eliminated from the first round. So everybody here is looking forward to wiping out those bad memories from the last time Egypt hosted the tournament. They think that it is a proper occasion now to move forward and score good results, and also providing good atmosphere as hosts. It's coming in late April and early first half of May, so it's a good time in terms of weather as well. It's not going to be so hot, and most of the games will be held at night. So I think everybody is satisfied, everybody is enthusiastic, especially the technical staff of the national team, because Egypt was drawn in the group of death alongside Nigeria, South Africa, and Morocco. So maybe now it's still not clear if Egypt is going to move as host to Group A. You know, always host countries are playing in Group A in position A1. So that will take Egypt out of this group of death. So that would be a good thing if it happens.
All right, let's look at the preparations. Now, it's a short notice for Egypt, to host this tournament. What are the what advantages do they bring as hosts when you look at, Egypt coming in as a host? Don't forget, of course, in 2019, they also hosted the Africa Cup of Nations.
Yes, it's quite similar, but in 2019, we had like 6 months of preparation time since the Cameroon was stripped out of hosting rights. But now I think it has been a short notice, yes, like you said, but Egypt has hosted already the Under-20 North African Championship, which took place in the city of Ismailia. And I think the very same stadium, the Suez Canal Stadium in Ismailia, will be one of the 3 venues, no question about that. And maybe Suez Stadium in the city of Suez, it's just like 30 kilometers south of Ismailia. So I think and there is also another stadium in Suez, and they all have the CAF approval. They all meet CAF requirements for hosting international games. So I think there will not be a big issue for Egypt preparing to host the tournament. But it's very unlikely to host the games in Cairo because, as you know, Cairo Stadium is the home stadium for the 2 big sides in the Egyptian Premier League, who are Al Ahly and Zamalek. And the league games will be underway by the time of the tournament. And there also will be some games if Al Ahly and Zamalek progress in the CAF competitions. They probably be playing the semi-finals. So it's not going to be easy to play in Cairo. I think Ismailia and Suez are the 2 cities to host the tournament, and they are very well prepared. They have very good hotel infrastructure, and they have very good stadiums, very good training venues as well. So no problem about the preparation, I think.
All right, interesting one. I remember also being in Egypt in 2021 at the Suez Stadium. That's some miles away from Cairo. And we're looking at Egypt also hosting on the 20 AFCON. There's one thing that is certain: in every preparations, there also rooms for challenges. Now, how will Egypt, of course, deal with the challenges should it arise, considering the fact that it's a short time, relocating the tournament from Côte d'Ivoire to Egypt? What do you think will be the challenges, and how do you think that the country will be ready to solve these challenges?
Yeah, the challenges will be maybe relocating some of the Egyptian Premier League teams away from Suez, maybe because some teams will play their home games there. But this won't be a big issue because the teams who play their games in Suez are not, they do not have a very large fan base like Ahli, Zamalek, or other teams, or Ittihad, or Al-Masri, or other teams. So it's not going to be a major issue. The second thing is about just finding the hotels for the teams, and I think you can use the very same hotels that were used for the 2019 AFCON. Like I said, on the Red Sea, on the Suez Canal, there are very good 5-star hotels for the teams, and I don't think there will be any major challenges. And I think with the experience that Egypt has, it will be as smooth as possible.
All right, I would like, before I let you go, Fahmy, this is somewhat of concern. Logistics also is going to be an issue. How will this change affect the participating teams, especially in terms of logistics and preparation? For instance, Nigeria have been camping in Katsina. That's to acclimatize with the weather. It means that they have to change their preparations to also fit into the weather in Egypt. And other teams also who have been preparing before now. Also, do you think CAF should introduce stricter measures, especially to host nations, whenever they are given the opportunities to host tournaments and they don't, of course, pull out just about some weeks to the tournament?
Yes, the situation of Nigeria is even similar to the situation of Egypt, because Egypt had a training camp in Qatar in a very hot weather, which is was a little bit going to be similar to the one in Côte d'Ivoire, but now all the plans are cancelled, and I think the players of Egypt will still have the advantage of playing at home. But I think, other African nations may have to come a little bit earlier to adapt to the weather in Egypt, which is going to be completely different from the one that was going to be in West Africa in general, not only in Côte d'Ivoire. So yes, that's a very valid point, and I believe maybe camping a little bit earlier in Egypt will help teams to adapt. As for pulling out from hosting rights, it was really a surprise, because Côte d'Ivoire have all the infrastructure. We have seen them hosting a successful AFCON, and it's a touristic country. I was there myself, and you were there too. I don't know why he pulled out so surprisingly. Maybe you have to read it with the context that the president of the Ivorian Federation of Football, Yassine Idriss Diallo, failed with his bid to get a seat in the FIFA Council. So maybe that has to see a little bit with the decision to pull out. I don't know. But CAF statement says it's unforeseen circumstances, and we don't know why. So I believe there should be sanctions, because even Côte d'Ivoire was eliminated in the qualification, and they were just given an extra seat that took up the number of participating teams from 12 to 13, and the Group A was made up of 5 teams. So I don't think Côte d'Ivoire would take part in the tournament right now, even though they have been preparing as a national team for it for over the past few months. And it's a shame, because if you take them out now, because it's part of the sporting merit, they didn't qualify, they were just going in like host country. We would wonder what is the fault of these youngsters to have the dream of playing in under-20 AFCON and possibly the under-20 World Cup as well taken away by a decision of administrators. So it's a very bit complicated, but I think there has to be some sanction, some kind of sanction, because you cannot just pull out 1 month ahead of the tournament and expect it to go. Because if CAF doesn't apply some sanction to Côte d'Ivoire, what would prevent other nations from just pulling out just a few months or even weeks from hosting such tournaments? So I think CAF should imply some sanction.
All right, I want to say a big thank you to you, Nageeb Fahmy, for your quality time. We look forward to Egypt being a good host for the under-20 AFCON. And of course, at the end of the day, football gets to win. Thank you very much for coming through.
Thank you, Favor. It's always a pleasure to catch up with you. Thank you.